Okay, this is Flameland, my short, cute, colorful 2D platformer, and we're finally here. I have been working on this game since, like, 7th grade, truthfully, but this iteration since 2019. This was my COVID project. And I finally got it on Steam, and a while back, I had promised a devlog going over the numbers. I think my exact words were something like, don't get your hopes up, we're only at like 130 wish lists, but maybe if we're lucky, we'll have a review or two. So when I tell you that I have over 50 sales and nearly 300 wish lists, that's a huge success for me. That's winning. And now that you have the numbers, you might be tempted to leave. But don't go, because there's so much more video, and I have so much more to say. I'm going to talk about the post-release more generally, and to do that, I'm going to divide this video into 3 parts. We're going to talk marketing, we're going to talk player experience and feedback, and then we're going to end with the updates I've been doing to maintain the game post-launch. Marketing first. Frankly, I did a bad job. I mean, I made a press kit, which I really like and is in the description, but that's only useful if someone looks at it. And before launch, I had made a list of YouTubers and ranked them on various criteria who might cover our game, but I didn't get to send them the game before launch because we were really working right up until our deadline. And also, I only contacted 8 of them. I also tried using Steam System to send the game to curators, but again, minimally and to no effect. The absolute best thing I did was post it on the Click Team subreddit and Discord, where it gained a bit of traction and even caught the attention of the Click Team team. The Click Team team? I caught the attention of Click Team. They reached out and very generously they reposted the trailer, they posted the gameplay footage, and they even interviewed me on The Reactor, which was really cool. Look at me being interviewed, I feel like a proper developer. But the other marketing thing I did is I actually made my own videos about the game. I mean, obviously this devlog is a video and also the trailer, but in addition to that, I made a guide on how to get high scores, and then I started 100% speedrunning the game. I posted a commentated version of my best run to this channel and to the speedrunning subreddit. Now, I don't know that those videos made any difference, but they were fun to make, especially the speedrun, because I finally got to stop making the game and just play it. Well, I say that, but actually it was a really good opportunity to glitch hunt, and there were some things that were bad for the play experience, things that would kill you, that I patched out of the game. But save that talk for part 3, because we're on to part 2, which is player experience and player feedback. Here, my news is a little more mixed. Now, first off, of those who bought or received the game, only 42 played, which is fair. We all have crazy long backlogs, I didn't expect everyone who got the game to play it. Where I started to get a little more nervous is only 60%, or 26 of those 42 players, unlocked the cafe. Some background, I always thought of the cafe as kind of the hook, the thing you unlock pretty much for free, because you unlock it just by playing a single round of the game. But let's be more precise. You have to play through the tutorial, start a round, realistically you'll lose that round, end up at the game over screen, and then you have to decide to return to the start. So of those 16 players, maybe some of them couldn't figure out the tutorial. I think more likely they got to the game over screen, thought that's too hard, and closed the game from here. None of these people left negative reviews, but I think you and I know that they had a negative play experience. And the median playtime sits at 19 minutes, which suggests to me that over half of players had a pretty negative experience. And I could internalize this as I made a bad game, but I'm not going to, because I still love this game. My friend Jake loves this game. This random stranger on the internet really loves this game, and thank you, by the way, for the fan art. It was so cool. So I choose to believe I made a really great game for a small subset of people. But viewed from that lens, it becomes a problem of marketing. I sold this game to people who did not like it. This is probably in part because I compared it to Kirby, and the aesthetics are very Kirby, but the game way harder than Kirby. I'm very grateful to this Redditor for their candid feedback on that matter, and for taking the time to try to understand what the game was trying to be. But I also shouldn't act surprised by this. I had other feedback that could have indicated people were gonna bounce off. Most obvious, during the Next Fest, there was a YouTuber who quit halfway through the demo because they just didn't like how it felt when you couldn't jump on enemies, which this for me was a clear-cut case of when to ignore player feedback. The game he wanted was just not the game I was interested in making. I wanted to explore the fire breath mechanic. But a less clear-cut case came much earlier in the process, where 2 testers told me they felt overwhelmed at the start of the game. One wanted fewer dragons so that they could get their head better around the abilities, the other wanted more linear early levels. Neither of these were good solutions for the game I was making, but they still were pointing to a problem. And I thought about them. I thought about simplifying the roster by making you start with all fire dragons, or maybe start with all dragons who don't have abilities. And I thought about making one of the first level options be more linear and easier and worth fewer points, but labeled specifically for beginners. Or alternatively, I could have done the new Pokemon Snap approach, have levels that are simple on a first playthrough that become complex on repeat playthroughs. I could have done these things, mechanics, and they might have increased player retention, but in the end, I didn't want to. I know that makes me a worse game designer, but I was always making this game primarily for myself, so I made the choice that made me happiest. Funland could have been that beginner-friendly first level. It was the last level I made, and I had that feedback in mind, but once I started making it, I just wanted it to be sprawling, like the other first levels, and so I made it sprawling. Now look, I said mixed earlier because there is positive stuff here too. Like, I can look at the achievements and try to figure out how many people 100%ed the game. It looks like 4, which one of them's me, so okay, 3, and then if you compare the leaderboard to certain other things, it gets confusing. Maybe it's just 2, but it's at least 2. One of them is my friend Aaron, who, in addition to 100%ing the game, also created a classic mode speedrun, which was awesome. And the other, I genuinely don't know, is a total stranger from the internet. I think the person who left this review. And in terms of metrics of success, this might be the biggest one for me. Someone else saw the secret ending. You have to understand, I spent a lot of time programming and making that, and I just genuinely was not sure anyone would see it. But yeah, first a friend and then a stranger enjoyed the game enough to search every nook and cranny to find every collectible, and then to grind out a high score so that they could get every medal in the windmill, and that feels incredible. And another positive thing, the reviews. I said if we were lucky we might have a review or 2 to read. Well, in addition to that, we also have this video review, which I don't think had anything to do with my marketing. I don't think I reached out to this person, but they left a very nice review. But the review I want to share in this video is over here. It's on Steam, and it goes, "This game quickly became one of my favorites, and a little obsession of mine. There's something really beautiful and calming about just walking around in this world. The levels are filled with secrets and beautiful areas, all with their own unique visuals and mechanics that you will only find on certain runs. And each character feels like it could be one person's favorite, all tucked away in little corners of the level for you to find. This game just feels so alive and charming." The review goes on, but the gist of what I want to say about it is, even if 50% of players bounced off this game, I'm just really grateful that this game could have been that special to someone who isn't me. But we're not ending on that sappy note. We're going on to part 3 because I gotta talk about post-release updates. The Redditor who pointed out that this game is way harder than Kirby and harder than it looks, he was also talking about how the bubble shield was not working the way he expected it to, which was a very fair criticism. This bubble shield is more than an extra health. It's kind of an encumbrance because the hitbox is the whole bubble shield, so it will pop even if you don't take damage, just if the bubble shield is hit by an enemy. And because its hitbox is so big, it also prevents you from using fire breath to kill enemies while you're in it. This is all by design, and this is covered a little bit in my high score tips video, but this was a design decision I was less sure about. So I talked to Jake, who does the music, and he really likes how the bubble shield works now, so I came up with a compromise. I added difficulty settings, which is actually something else the Redditor had been asking for, where you could change how the bubble shield worked, and you could even let your whole roster start with bubble shields. And the difficulty settings gave me a great place to put in other features that I thought would hinder the game but had been requested by some players. And because I like to be a little extra, I made the theming into a menu that you look at the cafe. Now, embarrassingly, there were some issues with the difficulty settings that I didn't catch till a month later because I just had a lot going on this summer, but I also fixed the issues with the bubble shield that cropped up as a result of this. And along the way, I found a lot of weird glitches. Aaron also was super helpful in finding some weird glitches and giving suggestions on how the snow globe could work better. I fixed some interactions with Ouroboros' ability. I let Croc swallow saw blades because I just thought that was more interesting. And just in general, there's been a lot of stuff that I've been tweaking. But the biggest change was definitely the difficulty settings menu, and I'm just really happy with how that came out. Now, will it improve retention rates? I mean, probably not, because you don't unlock it until you get to the cafe, and we all know players aren't even getting to the cafe. Except for you, dear viewer. You know how to unlock the cafe now, and if you've watched this far, maybe you'd be interested in this weird $2 game. I keep comparing it to Kirby and Sonic, and the reviews all say it's unique and not like Kirby and Sonic at all, so I don't really know what to compare it to. It's a 2D platformer, and I love it, and I hope you will give it a try. But maybe $2 is still steep for you. Well, great news. In just a little bit, something might be happening to that price? I don't know. I'm not allowed to share details. I'm just noticing this countdown here and thinking that maybe something will happen.